All right, let's start the session, guys. Now, what is the premises of chapter 9 that we have to remember? That this is fairly a easy chapter which talks about you doing an audit of different nature of entities. Like, for example, if you get the opportunity to do the audit of hospital, you need to know the requirement of the hospital, basically, like how the hospital operates, what are the things that are relevant for the audit from the a hospital perspective. If you ever get the opportunity to do the audit of a NPO, not for profit organization, then you already know that you can't go run and behind the profitability. Then you have to find out how they're utilizing the donations they are getting, right? How does NPO earn that? Where do they get the money from? All the funds, right? So from the funds or the donations they receive. If you ever get the opportunity of doing the audit of a cinema, right, the multiplexes, then you need to know the point related to that. Then you can't put the generic points over anywhere, right? So, like, for example, your chapter 5 is designed more from a perspective of a manufacturing company or a service oriented company, right? Your items of financial statement didn't focus this point, like, sometimes if you have to check the revenue of like, for example, a cinema, then how does the multiplex theaters earn the money, right? So you have to find out the ways in which you can actually do the audit of that specific entity, right? Now, you open your writing practice book, and every question will take that as question as a separate question. We will handle that question, learn everything around it, and then we move to the next question.
Recording in progress.
Special features of audit of a different type of entity. Amrita, will you be able to read this question? People are sitting around you, kya?
Yeah.
No, that's okay. Pooja, can you please read?
An NGO operating in Delhi has collected large-scale donations from tsunami victims. The donations so collected were sent to different NGOs operating in Tamil Nadu for relief operations. This NGO operating in Delhi has appointed you to audit its accounts for the year in which it collected and remitted donations for tsunami victims. Draft audit program for audit of receipts of donations and remittance of the collected amount to different NGOs. Mention 6 points each peculiar to the situation, which you will like to incorporate in your audit program for audit of said receipts and remittance of donations.
Remittances of donations and the said receipts. So it's a very specific point. Like, you can't put any generic point for the audit of a non-governmental organizations. Now, can you tell me how old were you when there was actually tsunami in 2000s, early 2000s? Were you guys even born? No? None of you? Amrita, you were 4 kya at that point of time? Because I was also in schools at that point of time. Like, probably I would be in 6th, 7th, or 8th, maybe 8th or 9th. I don't remember exactly. Anyway, and where are you from, guys? Can you tell me? Amrita, where are you from?
Kerala.
You are from Kerala. Pooja?
Yeah.
I'm from Chennai, ma'am.
From Chennai. Ronan?
I live in Karnataka.
Karnataka. Priya?
Chennai, ma'am.
Chennai. Are we covering a lot of states over here? Like, so we have to find somebody from Telangana and Andhra, no? Now. I think then we are done with the okay. Actually, in my CA final batch, I have someone from those two states as well. Anyway, but it's a good collection of students. Chalo, how do we do the audit of receipts and remittance of the donations for the non-government organization? The specific points you have to write in the examination. First, no reference to any other topic. You have to start the answers directly. Contributions and grants for projects and programs. We used to first check the contribution and grants for projects and programs. where you will say the auditor shall check agreements with donors and grant letters to ensure funds received have been accounted for. So this is a substantive testing. Remember, like for example, if you have studied your SA 330, you would know that in order to obtain audit evidence, you have like various ways. One, you can test the controls. Second, you can test the details, or you can do substantive analytical procedure. So this is exactly where you are doing the substantive testing, because you are actually going through the agreements with the donors and grant, and you are checking their letters to ensure that the funds received have been accounted for or not. Plus, here you have to be extra careful with respect to foreign contributions. Check all foreign contribution receipts whether deposited in there is a special account for all the foreign contributions, right? In a foreign contribution bank as per FCRA law 2010. There is a specific act which says that you have to deposit all that fund to a special account. Second, now, for example, NGOs also do a lot of fundraising programs and they receive that money, right? So, receipts from fundraising programs. What will you check? Now, fundraising programs is a very frequent thing that they do again and again and again, right? So, for that, you have to check the internal control system of the entity. Verify internal controls and ascertain who are the persons responsible for collection of fund and what is the mode of receipt. Now, in case of fundraising program, there is a lot of cash they receive, hell lot of cash they receive, because giving donation in cash is always easy. I can choose to give 5 rupees also, 50 rupees also, 500 rupees also, 1000 rupees also, depending on my capacity that I want to give. So these NGOs, they receive a lot of cash, right? Ensure that collections are counted and deposited in the bank daily. On a daily basis, there should be deposit of collections in bank. Now, NGOs or any NPOs in general, they also have members, right? So you must be getting the membership fees then. Check whether fees received with membership register. They would be maintaining the register for all the members. So check whether this fees are received with the membership register. You remember in your 11th standard or maybe in your 12th standard, you must have studied about the accounting for NPOs. maybe in your 12th standard, right? 11th standard, we only have the basics of the accounting till trial balance and financial statement. In the 12th standard, we had NPO probably in the first chapter, then we have partnership, then we have the company account, the share capital, and all of that, right? So in the NPO, you must have studied the accounting for the entrance fees and the annual fees is different, right? So ensure proper classification is made between entrance and annual fees and life membership fees. Then fourth, these NGOs, NPOs, they issue a lot of journals, right, for their members. And also if there are any subscription fees that the NGO is receiving, subscription fees, just a second, huh? Give me a moment, guys. Check with subscription register and receipts issued and reconcile with subscription received during the year. Fifth point says interest and dividend check any interest and dividend received and receivable with investment made during the year from the receipts. And the last, custody of receipt books. Verify if there exists a system to issue of receipt of books, comma, whether unused receipt books are returned and same are verified physically. Now, I'll tell you what is the problem with this question. When you read this question, they gave you a scenario where there was a donation received for the tsunami victims. Then they ask you to draft the audit program for audit of receipt and remittance of amount collected to different NGOs. And mention any 6 points peculiar to the situation which you will like to incorporate in your audit program for the audit of said receipts and remittance or donation. Sometimes when you read question like this, you are smart enough students, you will think that this is only talking about receipt related to this tsunami related donation. So you might end up writing a lot about tsunami related donation, receipts during those situations. Sometimes a student do that. Don't do that. ICI, even though they make all this case scenario, they are still asking you to answer any specific question related to what they have already answered in your books. So don't write anything extra over here. Are we clear on this? You may be tempted to write something about, the receipt related to tsunami situation, this and that. They have not mentioned any of this in the answers. So please be very careful in this. Diray, can you please read question number 2?
Ma'am, can you please
The
repeat the
general
fifth
transaction,
point?
the
Sorry,
hospital
just
includes
a second. Na,
patient.
I think Amrita has some doubt. Yes, Amrita.
Ma'am, can you please
She want to repeat the fifth point. Ma'am. She doesn't understand.
Fifth point.
She can't understand that.
Yes.
Okay, so what happens? So, like for example, as an NGO, I don't earn any other income. I only receive donations. I receive some foreign contribution. I have some excess. I have some excess receipts and foreign contribution with me. I am an NGO. I want to earn some extra income. What I will do? I will use that excess money and put it into the investment of government securities or some mutual funds or some shares, and I'll get dividend and interest out of that. So that income will also become my income as an NGO. As an auditor, you have to verify that.
And the fifth point.
Sixth one,
Five.
this point only I explained, no? Fourth point you are saying?
Yes, fourth.
Okay, fourth point is nothing but, see, fourth point, when does the reconcile? So for example, I have an NGO, and what we do is every year, whatever work we do for the society, we publish our own magazines. And we have given that as a periodical. Like, for example, you received that student journal from the ICI. In your initial registration with your, in your inter, you received that journals. But after a while, they stop sending that journals. Why? Because they expect you to pay for it. Right? So similarly, I am my NGO. I publish my magazines, my periodicals, but I want people to pay for that. And for paying for that, they have to take the subscription. So I also get that subscription fees as my income. So you have to verify, check with the subscription register and receipt issued and reconcile with the subscription received during the year. How many subscription I have issued, how many subscription, for how many subscription I have received the money already. You have to reconcile that. There can be a situation where I have issued 100 periodicals or magazine, but I only received money for 50. So then the 50 will be the reconciliation item for you. Yes? Clear now? Okay. Shall we go to the next question, guys?
Ma'am, we didn't write about the remittance, right? We just wrote about the receipt.
Ah, thank you for highlighting that. I don't have enough space over there. So can I use the above space? Yes. There are two questions. In case of specific to donation remittance. Now we are not talking about generally all type of incomes, right? We talked about all types of income already. We talked about the income from the project or programs. We talked about the income from the fundraising program. We talked about the income from the membership fees. We talked about the income from subscription fees, interest and dividend, and custody of receipt books. We talked about all of that. But they are specifically asking you, in case of remittance of donation, what are the points you will verify as an auditor? What you want to include in your audit program, right? So this is, I don't think this question they will ask in the exam, such a big question, but agar, if suppose they asked, so please write only 3 points of the receipt and 3 points of the remittance wala point. Don't write six for there and six over there, right? But I'll tell you 6 points for the remittance, right? Then audit program for remittance of donation. First of all, understand what is the mode of remittance of donation. Then confirming receipt of remittance. Then identity of donor. Fourth, external confirmation. Fifth, utilization. Sixth, NGOs selection. Now, can you tell me identity of donee? Not the donor, donee. Please write down. One NGO will remit the donation to whom? You're already an NGO. To whom are you remitting this money? Where is your money going?
To an education institution or
To
an education institution or some other
another NGO.
another NGO. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
it can be for any purpose, but you are remitting the donation for another NGO. So a lot of big NGOs do that. They big see for big NGOs. For example, there is a NPO of Nita Mukesh Ambani, right? Now she's a big personality, so she can easily raise funds from the foreign contributors, a huge amount. She can take another NGOs under her power, and what she can do, she can collect the in the name of her NGO, and then she can remit that amount to the donation to the other NGOs. Because the other NGOs are not very easily going to get the money from the foreign remitters, right? Foreign donors. So first of all, you have to understand in that case, okay, what is the remittance that is done by, are you paying cash to those other NGOs? The answer is no. For one NGO to remit that money, please ensure that they have done it with the account paycheck only. Ensure that all remittances are made through account pay checks. If there are any remittances through demand draft needs to be scrutinized thoroughly with reference to recipient to whom it has been that DD has been issued. Please ensure all remittances are supported by receipts or acknowledgement. So, for example, Amrita, you run an NGO and I also run an NGO. You collect the money from the foreign donors and then you remit to my NGO. Should I be giving you some receipt, some acknowledgement that I have received some amount from you? Yes. So please make sure all remittances should be acknowledged, should be supported by some receipts or acknowledgement. Yes. Then verify the address registration of recipient NGO. If you want to understand, like really get the confirmation from the other NGO from to whom that remittance was made, please send the external confirmation letter. Send confirmation letter to entities to whom donation have been paid. Now, for example, I am one of the NGO that is in the state of Kerala, right? You are an NGO in Delhi. When tsunami came, I was the state that got suffered heavily, right? So you gave me money to my NGO to relieve those people who have suffered from a tsunami, and I utilize that money for some other purpose altogether. Will that be the correct utilization of the fund? Absolutely not. So please verify ensure the amount of donation is utilized for the purpose, example, tsunami victims. In this question, it was about the tsunami victims. Now, how did you decide, Amrita, that you will give money to only my NGO and not to other? Or if you have decided out of all these thousands of NGOs, if you are going to send, your fund, or you want to remit the donation to some selective only, how do you determine that? That is what auditor will check. So auditor shall check system of selecting NGOs to whom donation have been sent. Shall we go to the next question, guys? Okay. All of you, one by one, can you summarize what is the point that you have learned? Okay, in terms of receipt from a school, how do you verify that? Nirai? Anyone? I just want any one point from you.
Ma'am, confirm if there are any fines for late payment for fees or penalties.
Yes. Ronan?
Check
Ma'am,
fees received by comparing the receipt counterfoils with the entries in cash book.
Exactly. So the receipts with the counterfoil, how many counterfoils are available and how much of receipts are received? Yes. Nirai?
check whether names of the students register for each month and their fees charged
Hmm.
and the internet check of their
Internal check,
correct,
sir?
which ensures the demand against the students are
Exactly.
properly
So if
raised.
the students have not paid the fees, at least the demand have already been raised. No, like this is how normally they do in the beginning of the month only. They tell like on first of this month you have to pay the fees, right? So at least demand has to be raised. Amrita?
School register, fees register, regarding the advance payment
Regarding the advance
received.
payment, so if there are any advance payments have been received, right? Or if there is any irrecoverable amount that is already there, are if suppose there is irrecoverable amount has been written off, like there was proper sanction during the period, if there are any advance fees that have been received, right? If that has been properly adjusted against the periods, correct, Priya?
Ma'am, to check the receipt of admission fees with the checks and counterfoils, and also to verify if admission fees have been properly accounted under the capital receipt.
Capital receipt. Capital receipt in what case?
Admission fees.
Admission fees, yeah, okay, correct. Now, there is one more point. Remember in schools, they give scholarships and all, right? So, first of all, there is always a criteria for the scholarship. You can just remember this kind of a special point. They give a scholarship to certain student or the fees concession. So, there must be a managing committee who must be deciding all the rules. So if you get to know that this particular class of student got the scholarship, you have to verify whether that scholarship is given or sanctioned against the rules made by the managing committee of the school. Yes, that's all you needed to know. NGO credits. Acha, do you know this question number? See, all the NGOs, sorry, question number 14. All NGO registered under the Companies Act are allowed to maintain accounts either at accrual basis or cash basis. Do you have this in your, go to your NGO concept notes and tell me, do they have this somewhere?
Yes, ma'am.
So are they allowed to maintain the accounts either in accrual basis or the cash basis?
No, only on accrual basis.
Only on accrual basis? Do we have any section reference in which they have said that?
Section 128.
Ma'am, in ICA book 9.28,
Actually, I made my concept book based on this only, but I don't know how did I sections, this reference. Just give me a moment, guys. Can you please dictate this point? Who has it from the ICI material? Can you tell me the exact language in which they have written this, please? Pooja?
NGOs registered under the Companies Act 2013 must maintain their books of accounts under the accrual basis as required by the provisions of Section 128 of the
A
said
little
Act.
slow, please. I'm writing now, Pooja.
Oh, sorry, ma'am.
Yes.
NGOs registered under the Companies Act
Companies Act, yes.
2013
Mhm.
must maintain their books of accounts
Mhm.
under the accrual basis as
Mhm.
required by the provisions
Mhm.
of Section 128 of the said Act.
Okay. So basically, Section 128 of Section of Companies Act anyway talks about maintaining the books of account. In that case, they have included a special provision for the NGOs that it should also be maintaining the books of account at the accrual basis. Okay, got it. Okay, thank you so much, dear. Again, propriety. Okay, come to this question, guys. Explain and also state the role of auditor with respect to following in case of hotel. Pilfering is one of the greatest problem in any hotel, and importance of internal controls cannot be undermined. You cannot undermine the importance of a internal control on this, because the pilfering is actually a problem in hotels. Audit of hotels. Have you done something like this before, like ever in your life? Have you gone to a hotel, pilfered the soaps, shampoos, toothpicks? Never? Did I never have you done that? What are you talking about? You were not even tempted to do it, and then your mom's told you, no, you're not supposed to do things like that. This. Answer. Pilfering is the greatest problem in any hotel, and importance of controls cannot be undermined. Why? It is the responsibility of management to introduce controls which will minimize leakages, auditor shall obtain evidences from testing internal controls, from detailed scrutiny of resulting profit percentage, auditor shall also obtain regular trading account for the period under review. He shall examine it and obtain explanation from management for any apparent deviations. Auditor should verify bills by reference of KOT or any basic record maintained by hotel. This would enable him to ensure that controls regarding revenue cycle are proper. So see, they are not only saying that pilfering is a problem because of the customer who come. Pilfering may also be the problem because of the staff working at the hotels. So they are not only worried about you, they are also worried about the restaurant staff they are working, the hotel staff they are working. And that is why, because the inventory that they use, the trading items that they use, they are very small. It can start from your hairpin to shoe polish, everything that a hotel provide, there can be a problem of them being stolen. And that is why any management should introduce a proper system, internal control system, to minimize these kind of leakages. So what will you do now then? As an auditor, you have to perform testing of these controls, right? Now, how do you perform testing of the controls? You can't just go and verify all these things physically. Like, you can't just go to every room and check if the shampoo is there, if the soap is there, if this and this. You can't just go and check. You can actually do that on a sample basis. You can go to their inventory record and verify what kind of inventory is there and match it with the record. That is a good measure that auditor can perform. But before that, can you perform an analytical procedure as per SA 520 and do the detailed scrutiny of profit percentage? Because of the movement of this inventory, there will be a good impact coming on to the profit, because they would be booking us loss of inventory over there for the stolen items. Then you also obtain on a regular, you shall obtain the trading of account of that entity. for the period under review and examine that trading account. And if you find any deviation from in the sales or the profitability item or anything of the trading account, ask for the explanation from the management for any apparent deviation of this deviation. If you see that is in front of you, ask from the for the explanation for that. Now there is a system called as customer order tickets. Not every hotel is going to have it, first of all. So either they will be having the KOT or they will be having the basic record. Verify all the bills raised to the customer. Verify the bills raised to the customer with regard to this basic record of what customers have ordered. This would enable you to ensure that the controls regarding the revenue cycles are in proper. Now, are you understanding what is the revenue cycle for a hotel? What is it, Pooja? Like for example, there is Pooja, are you here? Can you hear me? I think she just got dropped off the internet. So what I was mentioning, if you place an order on Amazon or Myntra, you get your product in how many days? Minimum 4 days, right? Everywhere. So what is their revenue cycle? They get the money in advance, but that money for that Amazon is not in revenue immediately. It becomes revenue when they fulfill their obligation of delivering the goods. So the goods get delivered in 3 to 4 days. So what is the revenue cycle? Around 4 days. In a hotel, what is the revenue cycle? For a restaurant order, the revenue cycle is 1 hour or 2 hours. You go there, you place an order. They deliver the goods to you, food to you. You eat, then you pay. Only that is the revenue cycle, right? So there are two ways of them, restaurant people taking the order. What they will do is either they will take the order on a piece of paper, or they will come with their some machine and in there they will put the order. So that can be their KOTs. So verify the bills, actual bill raised, and then there will be one person sitting at the counter who will raise bill and give it to all the customers, right? So you have to verify that bill with this order of the KOT so that you understand the revenue cycle, what is going wrong over here, right? So there may be the cases where you have received the order, but there is no bills raised for that customer. Customer just got up and left, and nobody even kept an eye on that person. So that is also a way of filtering revenue leakage. Yes, are we clear, guys? Shall we move to the next question? Have you done writing this part, guys? Okay, but you also understood it logically, no? Pooja, I think your internet was not working at that point of time. I'll just explain that topic. Whenever you get time, just go through that portion of the recording, and we'll go to the next question. Again, we are going back to school. You also go back to school and see if the school receives any other receipt. Normal receipt of for the school is what? The payment they receive from the school's children's studying over there. But if there is any other receipt that the school is receiving, or school may receive grants from the government, right? So if they have the other receipts on grants, then in that case, what role as an auditor you are going to play over here? How do you going to verify that? Suppose the land is given, see, a lot of school has been allotted a lot of land. If you see, like, the allotment of, especially in the small towns and the cities, the allotment of the area to the school is huge. Sometimes schools are not able to utilize the entire area. They rent it to the other, like, for some exhibition, some local event happening over there. And for that matter, they collect the rents. So you have to verify if there is any rental income from the landed property. Second, vouch income from endowments and legacies. Plus interest and dividend on investment. Also, inspector, securities, in which investment is held. What is income from endowments or legacies? Any idea, guys? Priya?
Any kind of donation?
Which kind of donation? They could have so told you the donation directly, right? Guys, can you just do a quick Google? Take this opportunity to,
His legacy is like will or a property, maybe.
So sometimes what happens, like, if I have a lot of, like, I don't have any other, I'm just giving an example. This can be a case scenario. I don't have any future generation to take care of my, like, there is no family, like, after me. And I was the only person. So I have a lot of assets, like a lot of property under my name or something like this. And I decided, like, whatever bank account I have, like, I just issued a bill, and I just told, like, whatever money I have or whatever interest I get from my investments, or whatever is there in my bank account, it should be issued to this bank, this particular school, periodically over a period of next 20 years, 30 years. Yes. So a lot of people do that. So if there is any income from the endowment and legacies, check that. If there are any income from the interest or investments, or the, like, if the school has made any investment, they must be getting the interest or the dividend out of it. So you have to check in what investment they have made, in what security they have made the investment. Are they getting any income out of it, or are they getting any income out of the endowments and the legacies? Third, verify the grant. So this is talking about other receipts, grants and donation, right? So verify any government or local authority grant with the memo of grant. If any expense is disallowed for the purpose of grant, ascertain the reason there. So basically, sometimes the government or any authority gives the grant, no, they can specify the purposes for which those grant can be applied. Have you studied AS12, accounting for grants? What kind of grants have you studied over there? Government grant?
Yes, ma'am.
But what type of
Common grants.
Under government grant also there, so they must have mentioned somewhere there are grant which are very general in nature, right? It can be used for any purposes. Or sometimes there is a grant which is for a specific purpose, that I am giving you grant only to buy this machinery, not for the general use of any business. Like for example, I'm giving this, like I'm telling this to you. For example, in case of a school, you gave the grant only to build the school. Or if this is a primary school, you have given them 10 crore rupees to build a secondary school. So you don't utilize that money for the regular conduct of the school. Yes. So if there is any expense that is disallowed for to be utilized for the purpose of grant, please ascertain the reason thereof. Clear? Shall we move ahead, guys? Let's go back to hotels. Just give me a minute. Now, there is another question on the hotel audit. Explain and also state the role of auditor with respect to following in case of hotel. One, inventories of a hotel, and second, travel agents and shops. Both are different things. Huh? Travel agents and shops may, both are same things, but earlier it used to be only travel shops. Like, now there are travel agents or shops or physical. Now there are Make My Trips. So Make My Trips, Agoda, and there are many such travel agents through which you can directly, or booking.com. You can, from the worldwide, from anywhere, you can book a hotel from booking.com or Agoda or Make My Trip, and the order will be placed to that hotel only. So when you go into that physically to that hotel, they will receive their orders in that case, right? So for example, if you know that your hotel, your client is also registered on Make My Trip. So when you are doing the audit of the entire hotel, please also ask them how many bookings you receive from the travel agent, that is Make My Trip, right? Because the payment and everything will be, the customer have done it based on the Make My Trip only, right? Do you know how Make My Trip works, guys? Everyone? Yes, you fundamentally now what I can just, like, if I have a hotel, accommodation hotels, I can just get it registered on Make My Trip. For along with me, there are like 10,000 other people in this country who have their hotels listed on Make My Trip. People, if you want to go to a particular place, they can go to Make My Trip website, register that particular hotel, and then they will also place, process every payment. Then that order goes to the hotel that they have received a booking from the Make My Trip, right? Now, for ledgers coming through travel agents or other booking agencies, bills are usually made on the travel agents or booking agencies. Auditor shall ensure money are recovered from agent as per credit period allowed. So what money Make My Trip will do? Make My Trip will receive all my customers' money. And then I will make an arrangement with Make My Trip that Make My Trip, you don't have to give that money to my account immediately. You keep that money. In every 30 days, you process all my money after deducting your agency charges, right? Because Make My Trip will not let me list my hotel into their website without any charges. They will deduct some charges, 2%, 3% from every booking. If any commission paid to travel agent should be checked with reference to agreement on that behalf, right? If any commission paid to the travel agent should be checked with reference to agreement made that on that behalf. Clear, Priya, Pooja, Amrita, everyone, Ronan? Now comes the inventory. For a hotel, inventory is a big deal to handle. First of all, valuation of inventory. Now, for a hotel which also has a restaurant, they will have an inventory of food items, right? They will have the inventory of floors that they have. They will have the, along with the flowers, they will have the inventory of all the veggies, all the curries and all of that, right? So that is the inventory that is yet not consumed by the customer. How are you going to value that inventory in their trading account? Many hotels use professional valuers to take and value inventory on a continuous basis. Such valuation is used in balance sheet by the hotels. Auditor should satisfy himself that the amount included are reasonable. Amount included by the professional valuers are reasonable. For this, auditor shall perform physical count and pricing test. You have to check both. You have to attend the count as per SA 501 and you also have to test the pricing and the valuation done for the inventory. Second, areas where large quantity of inventory is held key being retained by department manager. It should only be released to trusted person. Other staff should not be allowed in stores areas. Since inventory in any hotel are both portable and saleable, auditor shall ensure that every item is properly documented in inventory records and he shall also carry out test to ensure the documents are properly processed to trace movement, right? It is so easily to steal the hotel inventory of a hotel and sell it in the market. So for that, you will need to trace the movement of inventory from that documents. Do you want me to repeat the last point, guys? Since inventory in any hotel are both portable and sellable, auditor shall ensure that every item is properly documented in inventory records, and he shall also carry out tests to ensure that documents are properly processed to trace movement. Come to question number 26, guys. State the points that merit consideration in the audit of club with respect to its members. Again, for clubs, members, you will have entrance fees, you will have subscription fees, you may have other purchases by the members, and you may have arrears of subscriptions and other dues. Right? With respect to its members, you have to answer. You are not being asked all the points which you have to merit in the audit of club. It is with respect to only members. First, vouch the receipt on account of entrance fees with members application counter foils issued to them, right? Now, how the club members will take the subscription? One is they pay the entrance fees. That what subscription are we talking about? Guys, give me an example subscription for the members of club. For example, you want to go to the club to regularly play the lawn tennis. So you will have to take the subscription for that. For example, you want to go there and swim every week, every Sunday. You will take the subscription for that. For any services that the club provides, and if you have to take that on a subscription basis, you will have to pay the subscription fee for that, right? Verify members' subscription with the counter foils of receipts issued to them, trace receipts for a selected period, and also reconcile the amount of subscription with actual amount collected and outstanding. Verify the purchase of sports items No, this is the purchases. Wait. This is not the purchase. This is the purchases by the club. We are not writing this. In terms of member, you have to verify the debit in members account. So, for example, for a particular month, a member of the club received a lot of services. So make sure if that club has a system of debiting it to the member on a monthly basis, so please verify if the debits in their accounts are already done. Trace debits for a selected period from registers maintained in respect of supplies and services to confirm every member account is debited. Areas of subscription and arrears of subscription and any other dues. Ensure that arrears of subscription of previous years have been correctly brought forward I think that would be enough for you to write in 4 marks. What do you say, guys? One is about the entrance fee, subscription fee, debit in the member account, and arrears. So, like when I say gives this kind of questions now, in their answers, suggested answers especially, they mention everything regarding it. But in the exams, they are not expecting. Like, for example, they are talking about the capital expense, they are talking about any other expenditure. That is not asked here. What is asked here? With respect to members, what will you verify? So you only write respect to that point. Yes? Clear? Total of 9 questions we did in the class. Now tomorrow, the session is going to be a little bit heavy. Why? I want to cover the government audit entirely. All right. I want to cover the government audit. I want to cover the cooperative society and multi-state cooperative society. These two topics are the topics from where I say ask questions, like, in a very frequent manner. First of all, the government audit portion itself is a very big portion. So they always have something or the other to ask in the exam from the government audit. Then they decide that if they want to go for the partnership, if they want to go for the LLP, if they want to go for the NGO, if they want to go for the cooperative society. Yes. So tomorrow the session we will start with the government audit. We will do all types of the propriety audit, performance audit, comprehensive audit, efficiency, effectiveness audit, audit against the rules. Everything we will do it properly, and then we will jump to any other topic. Works? Now, the last thing. If I, instead of making you write government audit, if I teach you government audit, and then if I give you the time to learn in the class, will that help? Because if we write, we may not be able to cover the entire government audit. There are many questions, first of all, and there are many topics under that. So can we focus on the conceptual clarity of the government audit so that I can cover in that 2-hour session?
Yes, ma'am.
Works now?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. So tomorrow, first government audit, we will understand it conceptually, and then we'll go ahead with if the time remains, then we'll do other topics. Works? All right, then see you guys tomorrow. You have any queries from me? You can ask. Anything?
No queries.
No queries as such. Okay. So tomorrow I'll take government audit, and like in whatever time I want to take the subject, I'll take. Day after tomorrow, I am going to have like some 8 hours marathon for my normal audit wala batch. So I'll request, if you can see, if you want to attend that session, I'll try to speak mostly in English, if jitna possible hai. Like in some places I might explain them in Hindi, but I'll also make sure that I'll repeat the thing is like some of the things are English as well. So do you feel like you want to attend that session? Like if you want to attend that session, like whenever you decide in between, if you are already done with your studies, you will just come and sit with me in that session. Will that work? Because something of the other might be of use for you over there. So like, for example, I'll tell you what chapters I'm going to cover. So no matter if you have studied that chapter before or not, but I'm still giving you the opportunity to come and sit over there with me. I'm going to cover chapter 11. I'm going to cover and mostly from the questions point of view, huh? I'll cover chapter 11, I'll cover chapter 2 entirely, I'll cover chapter 3 entirely, and some portion of even audit evidences that I'm going to cover. So this will like a extra revision you will have for those topics, right? But I'm not insisting you to sit for entire 8 hours, because we already have some time, right? We are even extending the batch a little bit so that we can cover most time. But still, like maybe in the beginning, like if you don't have anything at 10 o'clock in the morning, just come and sit for 2-3 hours and see how that session goes. Done, everyone? All right. So that is on day after tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a regular session. Perfect. Then see you guys. Bye.
Thank you,
Have a
ma'am.
nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.